Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where I believe this will be the final episode of this series. And we just had a succession where our leprosy-ridden father finally died. I was hoping he would make it the rest of the series, but he didn't quite do so. Now, we have some problems at this moment. Our emperor needs to be on managed domain. That puts us to 11 of 10. Okay, that's not necessarily ideal. Noted. It's better, but it's not ideal. Now, we are also 3 direct vassals above our vassal limit, so we need to solve that problem as well. So, do we have any non-kings under us right now? Let's actually just check in our vassal tab here. So, under realm, vassals, and we'll sort by... Can we sort by rank in here? No, we can't. Okay. So, just going through, I'm looking for non-kings. So, just looking at the border here. So far, I've only seen kings. And then we'll have some, like, barons and stuff down here, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's it. We're going to have to combine together some kingdoms. Noted. So, in that case, we're going to go into our courtier tab, prisoners, and rank. So, we've got this guy. Gur. He's got 2 kingdoms, so not a good option. Then we've got Khotan. Okay, that could definitely work. So we're going to revoke that title. There we go. And we are going to give that title to... I think here will work. Kingdom of Kong. Hang on. No. I want to show only recent titles. Kingdom of Khotan. There we go. We're going to grant that to this guy. We're going to demand his conversion. He'll accept that, so that looks good. Any other vassals to grant? No? Okay. So we should need to give 4 direct vassals. We should be at 2 right now. Ah, up over here. We'll grant that to this lady. Gotcha. Right. So these get granted over. That'll be fine. That now puts us at the 2 that I expected to be at. Yes. Okay. Next up, what do we got? Well, we've got this guy, Poland. Poland would work. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. We can combine it with, like, Pomerania or something. So we'll revoke that title. Looks good. And then I think Pomerania would work. Or Palabia. Maybe Palabia. Excellent. And we'll demand his conversion as well. But before we do that, we can grant vassals to rightful lieges. Which we'll do. Okay. Looks good. 1 direct vassal above, and Palabia, will you convert? He's got a nice percentage chance to convert. We'll see if it happens. So now we need to get rid of 1 additional direct vassal, and that would be Bashkiria is a double kingdom. This is a triple kingdom. Sweden is a single kingdom. Okay, we could combine that with, like, Denmark. We don't have a title revocation reason. I'm going to hold off on that. Scotland is our friend. And we have no other kings imprisoned. Do we? I don't think so. Let's resort this by rank just to make sure. Okay, so we've got Gur, we've got Bashkiria, Senal Kingdom, Sweden, and Scotland. Do we have a revocation reason on Scotland? We don't. Okay, so from here things get a little dicier. 1 direct vassal over isn't so bad. Similarly, being 1 over here isn't too bad in terms of our domain limit. I would like to bring up our domain limit a little bit. I see. Reclusive, drunkard, infirm, and melancholic. That's not ideal. Okay, let's take this forward a little bit and see what these guys update to be at. Do we want any of this? Okay. We're just letting these update. In a moment, they'll update. Any moment now. Any moment now. There we go. Okay, so they have updated. There is this independence faction. This is a real faction. This guy, in theory, should leave it. So should this guy, and this guy, and this guy. Okay, that seems reasonably fine then. I don't think we're going to have major factionalism there. So that's okay, and we are potentially, like, we probably want kings to rebel at this point. If the game wasn't ending in 2 years. If the game wasn't ending in 2 years. But it is. So I want to check in on Ugra here. Let's see if we have... Oh, that's a lot of claims. Are any of them good claims? Hang on. Declare war. Just checking through here. Not amazing. Not amazing. Just a county level claim. County level. County level. And county level. Okay, so not amazing. We've got some de jure here, but it's not going to be much. I believe claimants are basically non-existent. That is accurate. Okay. So what about Ob? Ob is a interesting option, potentially. If there's a claimant. There might be. This guy? 5 reasons. We could probably bribe him. We may not need to. 56 and 32. I would choose to bribe this guy if possible. So he'll come to our court. That'll get us Ob, which is a kingdom tier realm, which will get us some de jure out over here. So that's something. We'll bring him to our realm. I also want to check in on Tuva. So we are truced here. Noted. If we were to attack this guy, he's got 3 duchies, so we would want to go after his kingdom tier realm. He doesn't really have claimants. Okay. Little awkward there. Checking in on the empires. That is within the de jure Empire of Mongolia. Noted. Okay, Aktuba. We have some de jure territory here. We want the kingdom tier claim. Can we bring this guy over? 65 reasons. I'm going to send him a gift. I doubt this will work. Yeah, 45 reasons. Okay. This guy's 14. Yeah, inauspicious. Well, Ob is going to show up anyway. So this guy shows up. I want to convert him over. We'll demand his conversion. Only a 28% chance on that. He refused it. Why was that only a 28% chance? Okay. Whatever. It doesn't actually matter. So I want to declare war pressing his claim. And we're going to raise up our forces, like, back over here. It's unfortunately only a single war. But we already knew we weren't going to get a full world conquest before the end date. That's fine. We're very close. We've got this down here and this up here. But we're running into some roadblocks up over this way. We might have to move down to the other side, but it's fine. This is, of course, acceptable. This is acceptable, and this is also acceptable. So one holding above our limit is a little bit rough here. And do we want to grant out a title? It's probably for the best, to be honest, but not Bandama, that's for sure. I want to upgrade warrior lodges, and it's going to be... All of these have reasons not to grant them, right? Like, most of them, we have men-at-arms stationed in. Those that we don't are county-level capitals. Just benefiting. So I think I want to just hold this over our domain limit. It's not that big of a deal. We should be absolutely fine. So up over this way, this is plenty of troops. How long until those men-at-arms show up? 3 months? Yeah. That's to be expected. But the game is going to end very soon. This is probably our final war. Looking at the clock here. Probably our final war. So that is absolutely fine. We'll decline this. And I would like to do something about our vassal situation. I really would. But the circumstances are just so that we can't really do it. Unless we wanted to get tyranny from this guy. It would be an act of tyranny. And we'd lose 100 legitimacy for it. We'd probably be better off doing that from Sweden. if we wanted to do it from anybody. One or more holdings are occupied. Okay. Let's just do it from... Where was he? This guy. He is our friend. But that's okay. One or more holdings are occupied. Well, we'll have to come back to that. Unfortunate. So we've got 3 months left until this gather is complete. That is fine. And I'm not sure what the exact end date is, but it will definitely happen very, very soon. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and expel revenants. And this is the King of Yugra attempting to seduce us. Okay, that's not going to work. If we had more time, that might be interesting, but as it is, I don't think so. So that is fine for now. We're going to finish up our gather here. That'll be done in about a month. Yeah, continue to work on that. And we gained a level of devotion. Fantastic. So if we open up our legacies here, yeah, I think if we had prioritized this, I think this is maxable, for sure. I definitely think that that's a thing that could be done. So we've got about 5 days left here on this gather, and we're going to make our way on into Ob. So we're going to... I think we should siege their capital. Impassable terrain. Right. I wanted to go up this way, but that isn't going to work. That's fine. It's October, and we don't have too much longer left. I'd like to get this war done before this game is over. And this might end up being a pretty short episode. We'll see. We can be overly fragrant. I guess that's fine. Okay, so in we go with, of course, a rather silly amount of units. Summon the physician. Yes, that will be absolutely fine. A soft approach is best. Now, to be clear, that event spam in the beginning of the game did slow down our growth. If that event spam, like if the fix for that event spam had been in at the beginning of the game, it is very possible that we may have world conquested on the pace we were on. I think that's very possible. We definitely lost more than like 20 years to that, didn't we? We certainly did. So we could make the excuse and be like, well, that's why it didn't happen. But also, it wasn't the goal. Our goal was to come out of Africa, right? Our goal was to unify Africa and then live up to the title, out of Africa. And I would argue that that definitely happened. We are out of Africa indeed. We are very out of Africa. We control 2 continents in their entirety. I mean, we don't have this down here, right? This part of Africa, but that is not in the game. Not in the base game, anyway. There's probably mods to add it. And we have reached the end. We did not quite get this siege finished up. That is unfortunate. This is now going to do this. Okay. Well, we can exit to menu here, and that is fine. What I want to do is I want to actually load back in there, and yes, continue from this autosave. Is that going to instantly end the game? It's on 1 January. Weird that it autosaved at the end date, but, you know, whatever. We could change the end date and continue going to get the world conquest. I don't see any reason to do that, to be honest. Yeah, it's just going to do this. Okay. Well, that is unfortunate. I wanted to go back in to where we could actually look at our map. So we'll go to... I guess this is fine. This is the save that was at the beginning of the episode. That'll work. That'll absolutely work. We didn't conquer any territory in that episode, so that is fine. I mean, it wasn't exactly a full episode, no doubt about that. But I would like to definitely talk about some of the changes that have been made and some of my current frustrations with the game. I have a couple of them, but mostly I'm reasonably content with the state of CK3 right now. So that is definitely something I would like to talk about here. So, first things first, let's talk about accolades. Accolades are 2 things. Incredibly powerful and useful, but also very tedious to maintain. And I think that's deliberate. I think it's deliberately made because they are so powerful. I think the the tedium of the maintenance of them is such as to create a scenario where they're more difficult to exploit to their fullest. I think that's the idea behind it. My main problem with the current iteration of accolades is when you're not on cooldown, but you can't restore accolades. That's not the situation we're in right now. But there are times when you do have knights who can be appointed to the accolade, but they do not turn up in here. Or rather, in here. Which is actually the situation where we would be in right now if we had knights that could be appointed here. So it looks just like this. But yet it's grayed out because according to the decision here for restore accolades, according to this, there are knights who can be assigned to it. And so we can't do this even though it's off cooldown. That is my major issue with the way that that works right now. I don't really mind the tedium of having to maintain your accolades because of the sheer amount of power that you get out of it. That's insane. So, let's talk about some of the other new features that have come in a little more recently than that. Diseases. I like the way that this is done. I like it quite a lot, actually. Now that the event spam is gone, the event spam cost us so much money in the beginning of the game, and that cost us quite a lot of momentum, which does end up meaning, I believe that if that was not the case, all of this would be under our control at this point, given the trajectory of the game. Granted, we don't have much for inns up over this way, but all we would do is we would declare a series of cut-down wars up here, and then vassalization wars. That's what that would mean. We would just need time for some truces to wear out, and not that many truces either. Down over this way, I'm sure there's things that we would be able to do. We weren't focused on it, but we would be pretty quickly. Like, if we check here, like, we could... probably not that guy. We might be able to convince this guy. Yeah, we could get this guy to come to court, and we would just immediately take this over. That would give us the Deccan Empire, which would give us de jure claims on this down here. Although we would probably angle for a kingdom-level claim here. 25 reasons. He could be convinced, probably. So yeah, we'd be able to get that, which would probably give us the Empire of Tibet, or very close to it. And yeah, we'd be able to conquer all of this, I feel like, very, very swiftly. This Empire tier realm, we would just carve into a little bit, and would not be a big deal. Yep, if we had somewhere around, I think, I estimate 20 to 30 years, and we would have all of this conquered for sure. Probably we would have it conquered in 10 to 15, but 20 to 30 would be safe. How much time do we think we lost to the event spam? It was significant. It was pretty significant. We spent a lot of gold on not getting our stress up too high, and our stress being up so high caused us to... Because the stress being high because we had rulers that were... they were compassionate. And so the event made it so that we had to spend money, or we had to have just crazy amounts of stress all the time, right? So that means that we had more successions than we should have. That also means that we spent more money than we should have, both of which carved in pretty significantly to our momentum. So that's definitely something to think about. No doubt about that. Significant carve-ins to that momentum means that we would have been here significantly earlier without that. And I think we would have world conquered here. Even without aiming for it from the get-go. I think we would have. Without the event spam. So it's very good that they fixed it. I'm glad they fixed it. I don't know why it was there to begin with, but I'm glad they fixed it. Imagine how much it would be popping with our realm this size. Like, it was popping so much when our realm was, like, this size. Imagine how much it would be with all of these plagues in our realm. That would be insane. I do really like the plague system, though. As far as the legend system goes, I think it's kind of mediocre. I think there's not a lot of reason to interact with it right now. If you want to gain, like, a bunch of prestige or renown or whatever, sure. maybe some legitimacy, if I remember correctly, but legitimacy isn't that hard to get, to be honest. Best way to get legitimacy, conquer territory, make titles. Free legitimacy. You're doing it anyway. So yeah, I don't think there's a huge amount of reason to interact with legends as of right now. Maybe that'll change, but that's neat. I don't mind it. I think there's a lot of good flavor that's been added to CK3 lately. I would really like it, and again, I've said this in the past, I would really like it if the men-at-arms, if we could declare war with men-at-arms pre-raised. That would be really, really nice. I understand why they don't do that. It would be... that's an anti-map painting measure, definitely. But once you get out over here and it's taking you like 6 months to raise your men-at-arms, that definitely slows things down. And I believe that's deliberate on the part of Paradox. That's okay. I'm okay with slowing things down on the map painting front. I mean, we still got to this point, right? Without even really deliberately trying to do a world conquest. It's insane. CK3 is, in my opinion, a little too easy to get claims in. It was definitely harder to get claims in CK2. The single most overpowered way to expand, in my opinion, that I think needs to be handled is inviting claimants. This is the single best way to expand into kingdom tier realms and just get out of control really, really quickly. I would like to see that reined in a little bit. Maybe not completely removed, but some form of limiting factor on it. I think that would be a useful thing. I mean, there are already limiting factors in the prestige cost and in the question of whether there even is a claimant. In situations like up here, there just is no claimant, right? We can't bring one in. So in those situations, we have to carve them up via things like duchy conquests. And that's way slower. No doubt about it. And that's good. That's good. There should be situations like that. There should be. So that's my overall thoughts right now on the current state of the game. I think that it's pretty decent at this moment. There are definitely some things that I think could be better tuned, that could be perhaps limited a little bit. And I would like to see the AI be... like, one thing I think is really missing in CK3, now that I think about it, is some form of, like, threat mechanic, like happened in CK2, and like happens in almost every other Paradox game. Taking land gives you some sort of, like, aggressive expansion penalty, and once that gets high enough, other nearby rulers look to band together to take you down. And that is a very effective stop to map painting, and that sort of thing is something I would like to see, like coalition wars against you if you expand too quickly. Offensive war malices and creating internal strife is all well and good. I like that. That should remain. There should also be people that are really, really afraid of you, and so afraid that they're willing to team up with their enemies in order to protect themselves from you. I think that would be a good addition to the game. Just something to slow down the absolute relentless pace of the late game expansion in CK3. That's my main criticism at this point, is late game expansion is insane. We took over, like, this territory, discounting the sections in Africa, in like 100 years. It's nuts. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and of course, this is the final episode of the series, so in this slot, next time, will be something else. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.